Hi, everybody. A very warm welcome to my channel, Nelly the Narcissist. Thank you so much for joining today. Now, as many of you know, I'm not actually a narcissist and my name isn't Nelly, but I'm a survivor. And Nelly the Narcissist is a covert narcissist character that I actually use in all of my comedy skits and is the face of my channel. She's kind of like the mascot. So if you haven't seen those comedy skits that I do, then go check them out because they're made for survivors to be like medicine. Today I'm going to be discussing the truth of what it actually means to love a narcissist, especially from an empath's position or from a position of somebody that just has a lot of empathy, a lot of love, because although I'm aware that a lot of you are done with a narcissist and would never ever look back, there are still many others that even after all the abuse, you're still struggling with your own love and your own empathy for that narcissist. And it can be a really difficult position that causes people a lot of pain and dissonance. And what I'll be sharing is always based on personal experience, because if you're naturally attuned to feel other people's pain and you're naturally very forgiving and very loving, even when somebody has actually treated you in a way or several ways that's totally unforgivable and unacceptable, you may be still inclined to want to extend understanding and forgiveness and empathy into their direction. And although this isn't always a bad thing, when the person's a narcissist, this is a dangerous position, because we know narcissists are highly manipulative and they use your heart and your virtues against you for their gain. So I'm going to be speaking the absolute truth today as I know it, but I know that it might not be easy to hear and I know that it could be triggering, but what I'll be sharing is basically for your own protection, because I know that the human heart wants to run away with us at times and we need somebody to just help us out, keep us in check. And just before I jump in, if you appreciate the video and you want to help me to get the message out, then please do like it and share it with anybody that you think that it would help. And also, if you resonate with the message, then please do leave a comment below, share your experience, because this can be also really helpful to other survivors in the community. Many people break free from narcissists only to find themselves being pulled back, and then maybe breaking away again and then being pulled back. And although, this can certainly be the trauma bond, even when you've done a lot of healing after the ordeal with them, for some people, not all, but, for some, your heart can still hold a lot of love. And it's very confusing. It's a really confusing position to be in, because this should be a person that you hate and you can't actually stop the love for them. And although this in itself also isn't necessarily, a bad thing, it just tells me you're a very loving person by nature. You've got a big heart. And obviously the narcissist never deserved you. But we have to be extremely careful, because there are snakes in the grass looking for a slither gap and an opportunity to get back into the room that we had to kick them out of in the first place. And they perceive your heart and anybody that has love and empathy as weakness. It's a strength. It's always a strength. But it can be used against you as your weakness, as narcissists will do. So the biggest thing that I need you to keep in mind if you love a narcissist is the main and the biggest difference between you and them. Do you remember that movie, The Wizard of Oz? And it was the Tin Man that Dorothy met along the yellow brick road that didn't have a heart and really, really wanted a heart. The narcissist is the Tin Man or the Tin Woman that doesn't have a heart, but the difference is they don't want one. They are okay to be heartless. And they know what they are, and they're really okay to be like that. And the problem with that is we're projecting. We are projecting how we are onto the narcissist. And do you remember I said in a previous video, I'm going to link it down below, I quoted something from Anais Nin, and she said, we don't see things how they are, we see things how we are. And the narcissist is guilty of that too, because the narcissist sees everybody and everything in life as a threat to them. And they're stuck inside that kind of survival of, you got to do to them before they do it to you. They've got a very negative and pessimistic outlook on life because they believe naturally everybody's like them. So if you were a narcissist, wouldn't you be just a little bit suspicious? And they project their lack of love and empathy onto others in many ways. They believe that human people can't be trusted. And we do the opposite, because we project all of the best stuff onto the narcissist. And we hope, we want to see the potential and the love, and hope often doesn't want to give up on somebody because we wouldn't want somebody to give up on us. But the most important factor to always remember about narcissists is there is an illusion of humanity. The narcissist uses that in their manipulation tactics. But the fact is they are devoid of it. And that's the major difference. Now, it can be very hard to accept, and it's even harder to remember this fact, but you're not on a level playing field with a narcissist because you've got a heart, but they don't. You feel deeply, and you can also have empathy to feel the feelings of others, but they don't. They don't feel anything for others apart from super negative emotions. They don't like anybody or form connections on a deep level. The interactions are all exceptionally superficial. Obviously, with a narcissist, if you do form a deeper connection or some sort of a relationship, that is when you're going to see and experience the very worst of them, which is, of course, who they are. So narcissists, they're really good at picking up on the emotional states of others. They have that cold empathy. They have intellectual empathy, but it doesn't come from the heart. Nothing is ever felt in the heart. There is a devoid of heart and love. And even though the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz didn't have a heart, just had an empty space, he was a lot more loving than any narcissistic male or female that actually does have a heart, but it's not functioning other than just pushing blood around the body, keeping them alive. Narcissist brains, they're not wired to have empathy or love. It's important to know that the brain's mapping's different. It's different to a regular person. A non-narcissist, a non-psychopath, your brain is totally different to their brain. You're not on the same page. You're human. They look human, but inside there's very little in common between the pair of you because their primary drive is to rob, steal, lie, cheat, destroy, and everything, and I mean everything that they do and say is geared towards this. And this is an alien concept to you that you struggle to get your head around. Instead, when they look so vulnerable and they smile at you, or you see them crying and they ask you to hold them, or they gaze into your eyes and they tell you that they love you, you naturally start to believe that they have humanity, and it melts your heart. And in that moment, you'd do anything for them. You're loyal, you're loving, you're kind. You can't turn that off because that's who you are. But this is the trick of the light, because this isn't who the narcissist is. It's a performance, and it's designed for you to weaken and to manipulate you. And it's a super sad thought, but this is the case, and this is always the case. And even when we know it, we can forget it very, very, very easily because of the illusion that the narcissist is presenting and the clever ways in which they know exactly how to act like a real human with human emotions to get you to feel empathy so that they can lead you into being set up for your next manipulation. That's what it's like with narcissists. One manipulation after another. Nothing they ever say is just words. Nothing they ever do is just actions. There's always consideration and manipulation behind everything. And for anybody that isn't a narcissist, especially for somebody with a lot of empathy, you can't fathom this. And this is what can lead you to getting tripped up. And once you know this is a person I loved or you loved, and they're a narcissist or a narcopath, you have to change your mindset. You have to realize that everything that they say and that they do is for manipulation, is for power and control. Love doesn't enter the equation, even when they claim that it does. They don't know what love's meaning is. Love to them is, admiration and attention. It's chemical. It makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel high. It's narcissistic supply. That's all that love means to them, is narcissistic supply. It doesn't go any further or deeper than narcissistic supply. Now you have to remember, no matter how much you love someone like that, they're a danger to you. And they're always going to be a danger to you because they're not there to benefit you. They're there to rob from you. But a covert narcissist or a covert malignant narcissist will never look like a danger. And that's the trick. That's the illusion. And the narcissist is aware of the con. And this is the other factor for your understanding, They hide what they do from other people. And they don't want certain people finding out who they are. If they weren't aware of what they were doing, they wouldn't feel such a need, you see, to hide what they do. And I know there's a lot of people out there, because I receive comments on my channel that say, well, narcissists need love too. They're unconscious about what they're doing. They're trapped within their cycles, kind of like they don't mean it. And they've been through trauma themselves and, love them. There's a problem with that, you see, that I have. There's several problems with that, because the thing is, if narcissists were completely unconscious about who they were and what they were doing in life to others, they wouldn't feel such a need to wear a mask and to hide and cover up all of the ways that they use, manipulate, rob, lie, steal, and abuse. And they have that primary drive that they don't want people to find out what they do. So they are consciously aware of what they're doing, and they know that what they are doing is not right. They know how wrong it is. The problem is, I think a lot of them enjoy it. Otherwise they wouldn't do it. And so this is somebody that's alien to you. And like I said before, we can't use our psychology and the understanding of who we are and project it onto them, because it's not going to work. It's the wrong framework. And if we don't switch our mindset to considering a narcissistic individual, we'll be putting ourselves in danger. We'll leave ourselves wide open for their manipulation. Now, the other thing to remember about a narcissist, if you still have love for them, and if you, like myself, despite everything that happened in the past, you do still feel their pain and suffering, and it causes you some pain and suffering because you see the cycle that they're in, you see their delusion, it's a sad reality to be a narcissist. And it makes you incredibly sad in your own empath nature when you feel their pain. And this is another pitfall, because we can, in our hearts, believe that it's our job to give them love. Or maybe we don't even feel like it's a duty, but we just naturally open our hearts because you see their delusion and you sense their pain. And because you loved who you thought they were, this image of them that they gave you at the very start, you again see the potential of what you believe could be. And you want them to come out of their own pain cycle that they cause, also, obviously, for everybody else, and also for themselves. But I want to remind you that even though you're aware that love is a healer and a medicine, the truth is they don't see it like that, and they don't want it. Love is actually the last thing that they want, and it's the last thing that they're interested in. Love doesn't enter the equation of a narcissist. It's not love, it's power. And for them, in their delusion, power's love. They're chasing power and desiring power in the same way that most people chase love. They traded them. They made a deal with the horned one, I think. And they said, I'm happy not to have that. I don't need that. I really don't need that. I want power. And you told me I could have power. Power is everything. Love's nothing. That's what the narcissist believes. And obviously they have this completely the wrong way around. They've got life inverted. If you don't have love, you've got nothing. And I hear people ask all of the time, can I help the narcissist? Is there anything that I can do? I love them. I don't want to give up on them. I don't want to give up on my marriage or my relationship. And this is a trap. This is a trap again. And it's your heart that's pulling you into that because you feel the suffering of the narcissist on a deep level. You probably know the narcissist is their own worst enemy, but it's something to keep in mind that the narcissist is also an enemy to everybody else and to you. They're dangerous to your well-being. And this is somebody that's totally lost. They're so lost that they're a danger. And they're doing a lot of harm, and a lot of the time it's consciously and it's willingly, and they're happy to live without love in their lives. And they see that position as actually being a benefit to them and being somehow, stronger and more clever than the rest of humanity. They think that the human heart and the connection to empathy is a real weakness, and they haven't understood it's actually a real strength. But for them, it's a weakness because they're aware that if they just act like you, they can play on your heart and your emotions and get you to do what they want you to do. So the narcissist considers love and empathy and kindness and forgiveness and basically all of the virtues of the human heart as a weakness, because it's the route into manipulating you. And therefore, it's a weakness. That's what they think. And so we can't afford to forget this, that the narcissist is just not looking for love. Even if they so desperately are in need of it for their healing, they don't want it. The only help that they want from anybody is for you to give them narcissistic supply, for you to enable their narcissistic personality disorder. That's all that they want. They want your forgiveness, your empathy, your love. They always want you to give them your attention, your validation. They want your resources too. They want all of your time and all of your energy. They want your focus. They want you to sustain them. They need your energy flowing to them. And apart from that, that's all that they want. Sometimes they want your life, but they need narcissistic supply. They don't care about anything else. But you see, and I've seen this for myself, the moment that you don't give them the narcissistic supply, they don't care about you anymore. And then you recognize that all of your time, all of your love, all of your patience, your understanding, your kindness, everything that you gave to the narcissist, and all of the pain and suffering that you went through was in vain. Because they never cared about you, and they don't care about anybody. They don't. So what do we do if we're in a situation when, we love a narcissist and we want to help them? Literally, all that you can do is love them from a very, 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 very safe distance. And in loving them, I just mean send love to them, send prayers to them. You can ask the divine to help them. But you can't do it yourself, because it's not love, it's not your love, it's not anybody's love that's going to help them. There's only one love that could do it. But they're so far away, they would need to choose it for themselves. And with narcissistic personality disorder, there's very little desire for them to choose that. Because remember, they're not love-based people. And I also need you to know that it's not your responsibility to try to help them or try to love them. Because also you can't personally do it. Like I said, nobody can really help them. And even though we think there's a possibility that love is going to change them, love will always be used as a weapon against you. Now, if you're like me, you've battled the different parts of yourself. One that's extremely angry for what happened to you and despises the narcissist. But then there's the other part that fiercely loves them and is fiercely loyal to loving them, which is sometimes to your own detriment. And this is how I know why every person needs to put love for themselves as number one. And the priority is love for yourself, because plenty of times I've been drawn into the thinking that the narcissist needs me to be more understanding and, more loving and a kind of person, to reach to new levels within myself, to be that better person, to show up still in love for somebody that's hurt me so badly, that's been so evil. And I've been pulled back quite a few times because of my own softness of my own heart. And that was sometimes, telling me lies. And every time I did get pulled back into even offering understanding or empathy or wanting to help, I quickly got shown that they didn't care about any of that. It was just all for manipulation, to gain something out of me. And that really was all that was wanted. And there's really so many times that you can hit your head against a brick wall before you say, I really can't do this anymore. And at that point, you understand you don't have to let go of love, but you do have to let go of the person, because that person is never going to be healthy for us. And they're going to do a lot of destruction if we allow them to. And you don't have to listen to me, You could continue helping the narcissist or trying to love the narcissist better. But at one stage or another, you're probably going to come to the exact same conclusion. And I really don't want you to spend your precious energy and your precious lifetime that you have fighting for a losing cause that's going to cause you a lot of stress and struggle and drain you of a lot of energy and focus. And it will be in vain usually for a narcissist, because they're not interested. They don't care what they're doing to you. And the sad truth is, the narcissist will never know how much you love them. They never know the depth of your love because they got no concept of love's meaning. They just look at how much you do for them and how much they can get out of you. And for them, that's what it's all about. And they know when you love them, you'll do more for them, you see. So they will always play to your heart and empathy for this exact reason. And I just want you to know that we are all individually responsible for ourselves and our own well-being. And we have choices to make. Every single person makes their own choices, including the narcissist. I come back to my belief that they are consciously aware of what they're doing and very often a willing participant in their abuse cycles. It's not like they're innocent victims. This isn't a person that responds well to love. They don't care about love. I tried so much to give love, to think that it could make a difference. I got used, abused, exploited, and taken for a complete fool and for a ride. I kind of wish that I'd toughened up a lot sooner and just said, stop, no more. This is ridiculous. But I have a weakness that I'm aware of, and I have to be so guarded around narcissists because I have a heart. They will use your human heart against you time after time, and they really don't care, but they're banking on it. They're banking on your heart. So I hope that this video has been helpful, and I know that some of those things that I said would have been triggering, but I just want to make people aware of the truth of how narcissists really are for your own safety and your own protection. You have a weakness like I do, and that is you have a heart. But always remember, the narcissist doesn't have the same heart as what you do. So thank you all so much for watching today. Take care, sending love, and I will see you all again next time.